Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So of course, we go back to Frogicide in stage 4 in order to level up our newest Manifest battle to level 10. And we're going to go back and take on Mr. Crouching Tiger, aka Normal Style Shigure, and see what we're up against in the second and more difficult fight. Now if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. And as usual, I do have 3 different methods, although the last one will be the most interesting because I'll show you I made a mistake in the setup the first time, and I'll show you what difference a small change can make. Also, as usual, I don't use an all-free team. These will be gadget type teams, so hopefully that'll be okay for you. So just like the first fight, we decided to go with the same team, an all-out 1A Pierce team, and of course being that Mr. Shigure is weak or vulnerable to water and earth, 3 of our 4 units are of those elements. Suzette, even though she is not that, with her resistance, she still could do a ton of damage because she is true manifested, and after all, she is my waifu, and so why not bring her along? Now note that with Awakened Zone, we do have more powerful attacks from Ultra Tuba. Her Undying Shade is at a full mod when Awakened Zone. However, the downside to that is that at each HP stopper, Shigure does break Zone completely, and so after that, her Undying Shade from Ultra Tuba won't do nearly as much damage. That being said, we do have a Lunatic Milsha normal style, and she can lay a pretty big smackdown. At this point, I don't think I should cast Addis Triana. I should have done her normal earth attack. I think it could have finished off the fight, so 1 turn longer than it should have been. That being said, I wanted to see if the end of turn shade attack times would have killed it off, and unfortunately it did not. So on turn 3, Undying Shade finished it off. I mean, no serious business here. Note that we do have the water shield and also an extra type shield from AS Yukino for the 50% type shield when establishing zone, and we have a 50% water shield from Milsha. Basically, with the diminishing returns, you get 50 plus 50 of the remainder, so 75% shielding against water attacks. Note that his first attack, which in this case was an AoE, I believe is a non-elemental or non-type attack, and so we did not get shielded from that one. But his second attack was water, the 3 slashes, I believe, in which case we got 0-0-0, which is always very, very nice. Of course, we augmented that with power down multiple ways from Glaive Pierce from Ultra Tuba, as well as Demonic Thrust from the actual original one, Suzette, because don't forget, Demonic Thrust is also available on Ultra Tuba, which by the way, Awakened Zone if you want to use that. Standard setup, we can optimize Grasta if you really, really need to. However, I found that the standard Pain Grasta would be more than enough, and you can make sure you use Bullseye as well as MP Consumption if you can, Rose with Thorns. And your third one can be anything either defensive in nature or combo rate if you want the extra DPS for multiple hits from Ultra Tuba. Shigure, of course, is just carrying Grasta, and note that the proficiency debuff Grasta just in case we faced any power, int, or speed debuffs, in which case we were able to deal more damage than Shigure could do to us. Now in our second fight, we have the meme team, the ultimate team, the Magic Zone team, the cheap team, and the scam team. So we have, Ultra Xion, Flam, Eva, and Efi, just in case those 3 units weren't powerful enough. The Efi will help us survive forever and not die. And note that if we do a non-AF first turn, because we hit first, we basically bypass his attacks and we just win. So that's pretty much it. No issues there. The enemy again is vulnerable to water, and since our 2 main DPS, Flam and Eva, are both water, there's no need to switch resistances with weaknesses. I don't think it will help anything in this case, at least for them. And so, yeah, tons of damage. I'm actually surprised that normal style Shigure's Manifest doesn't have a lot of HP. It seems that we can one-shot everything. I do realize that Manifests are meant to be more approachable and easy to beat, but still, this felt way too easy compared to the struggles I've had with some of the other super bosses. And yes, I had temporarily actually, put them on hold just because of some frustrations. And I realize again, I really should reattempt that at some point in the near future. So Yeah, just that's the loadout as usual. Note that one thing I didn't mention that I discovered in the second and third ways of killing off Shigure is that his first attack is actually preemptive. And so if you watch my other teams, the first team was an one-turn AF. This one we have 2 preemptive moves from Rosa Liliac and Ultra Shion's Magic Zone move. And so in this case, I have actually decked out AS Tsubame being our dual debuffer with a preemptive Grasta, I think it's Falcon, either Falcon or one of those preemptive type moves, and I'll show you the loadout at the back. Now this is where things get interesting. I made a mistake because I left an old setup and I removed the dual shield that Aoife can give to people. That is the 25% type and 25% physical. I also didn't do any additional power debuffs, and we do have a modest debuff with AS Melina, the Stifling Song. So right here we did a 2-turn AF and, you know, blasted right through it to the first HP stopper. And because I didn't put any physical or type shield, even with Blunt Zone active, remember that the enemy does break zone, and then one shot with the 3-hit combo dealt lots and lots of damage, so we lost a unit right off the bat, which was very, very unfortunate. Now, we clearly can end the fight right here. There is an aura active, however, it only activates on taking magic damage, in which case all damage becomes critical. Well, you can see my magic team was able to mop up the floor with him, no issues. And note, we did stack 5 stacks of T-God Majesty outside the AF, so that we act first with AS Tsubame. Then we can push it to the second HP stopper, and then the combination of T-God Majesty and or AS Melina was more than enough to kill it. So remember, there is a first turn preemptive move from Shigure. Plan your team accordingly if you're not doing a first turn AF. And if you're wondering, what's so interesting about this clear? Well, we don't want any bodies to be lying down you know, when we win the fight, unless absolutely necessary. What we like to see is 0 damage attacks and lots of shielding. I'm actually a more defensive natured fighter in general, although tanking strategies are kind of not really my personal favorite. That being said, you can see that cursor reversion was actually from a previous test on using Aoife. And so again, Shigure is the same, proficiency debuff Grasta. Now note the difference with the same setup, but the second turn AF was different. Now, if you watch this replay of the second turn AF, note that I did actually add and use Aoife's dual shield, and I also did cast the Stifling Song from AS Melina. So we're going to do a 2-turn AF just like before, and same kind of, everything else is essentially the same. We have 5 stacks of T-God Majesty, everything else is pretty much the same. Now watch the result after the AF. So the AF is pretty simple. We're just going to blast away and make sure we cast those moves that we would like. So again, we're going to cast the shield from Aoife, and just watch the AF right here. There you go, Paidir Dia or whatever it's called. And other than that, just spam some and take note of making sure you can leave 5 stacks of T-God Majesty. Remember, it starts with 0, 2, 4, then 5, especially if you land crits. And we do have a crit setter with AS Melina. So, and with all those extra shields and the modest extra debuff of AS Melina, 0, 0, 0, just like the very you know, first fight. And so that shows you that, you know, if you are finding difficulty in taking a ton of damage, having extra shields, especially against physical attacks if you have a physical type shield, or a type shield such as, you know, any type shield that can help against elemental attacks, can reduce damage quite a bit, and in conjunction with power down or int down depending on who you're fighting, can negate massive amounts of damage. Now, if you see even some of the massive amounts of damage from some super bosses where it's like 10k, or in the case of a very old boss, Kudang, being like 30 or 40k, if you tank enough where you can get essentially 100% resistance through a combination of physical and type resistance, you can take little or no damage. So that is the key to some of the more interesting fights, where you're reducing it to a very small percentage, if not 100% total resistance or shielding to damage, through a number of different ways of stacking shields, debuffs, and buffs, and then you'll take little to no damage. Anyways, hopefully that's interesting to you, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.